Hey guys, I tested this DIY Geode canvas set from Walmart by Mindful Makers, and let's see how it turned out. So this kit comes with everything almost that you'll need to create a resin geode on canvas. That includes parts A and B of the resin. You get some colors, glitter, the stones, the 8x8 canvas, and you also get stir sticks, a paintbrush to lay down your color, as well as some gloves and the instructions. Now, the suggestions indicated that we should draw out how we want the piece to look, which I normally do. So I did that off camera. And then with the brush, I went ahead and laid down the paints. One thing that I want to mention as far as what is not included in the kit is that there is not a respirator. And I think it's really important that you have one of those when you work with resin so that you can protect your lungs. So for that process, please make sure that you get one. They're very affordable. And you can get them from like Home Depot style locations, as well as just Amazon or any other place that you can find them. So the other thing is that the gloves that were included, I don't know who has hands that large, but those gloves were entirely too big for my hands. So I did not use those once it was time to do the resin, and I just used some that I had on hand. I also used tape on the back side of the canvas instead of sitting the canvas on top of 4 cups like the instructions suggested, mainly because I'm a little clumsy and I thought for me it would be easier to just have the tape on the back to protect the canvas versus having the resin drip down onto 4 plastic cups, or me knock something over, because that's just my life. So yeah, the 4 colors that were included in the kit are actually really pretty. The blue is my favorite, but all of the colors are actually very sheer. So when trying to add more color to the canvas so that it didn't look as thin, you can see a lot of the brush strokes, and part of that is probably just me. I'm not a painter, but the other part is that it's just so thin. So when you add more paint, you can just see everywhere that the extra paint is. And with the one brush that's included, it's also kind of hard to lay down the color. So I did hope, or not hope, but I wished that there would have been at least another larger brush that was included in the kit, because it's also a little time consuming using that tiny brush to try to paint the entire canvas. But we got it done because I wanted to only use what was included. So we did it. Now, one other thing that I forgot when I was doing this is that I completely skipped over using the glitter. I kept looking at it and wondering why it was in my workspace, and I didn't realize until after the canvas had already cured that I just forgot to put glitter on the canvas. So that was me. Whoopsies. Yeah. Anywho, after the paint dried, you could see all my horrible strokes. I pretty much crossed my fingers that once I laid the resin down that you would not be able to see all of those brush strokes. But you can still see it in the final product. I think it still looks pretty nice from afar, but when you look at it closely, you can definitely tell that I painted the the color beforehand. But I ended up mixing the full bottle of resin. So both parts I mixed completely and then added the color. And the colors mixed well with the resin, but I noticed that even with the resin, they still turned out pretty sheer looking. Mostly that blue, that very beautiful pearly blue, was pretty thin, and even in the final piece you can kind of see how the colors almost some of them bleed into each other, and so it has this weird effect on the canvas. But what can you do? I don't know. I didn't want to try to add anything else since I was just using the kit itself, but I think it still turned out pretty cute. The Speaking of the turnout, so another thing I want to mention is that if you're a beginner, this kit is probably going to be really good for you. One, because it's affordable. It was less than $30 for the whole thing, and normally if you're getting just the resin from somewhere, depending on the brand, it can be $30 for your little resin kit, and then you have to get all the other materials. So it has a really good value, but also there is a lot of work time with this resin. Even once the paint was mixed in, it still took a while for the resin to start curing. And I had some extra resin left over, so I ended up making a bonus piece that you guys will see at the end. But even after the 24 hours, the resin still felt kind of malleable, as in I could press up and down on the canvas and it moved. It almost felt um, not gummy, but like if you had something flimsy that you could bend, it was like that. But after another few hours, it finally hardened because I was really worried that it wasn't going to cure, but it did finally cure. And that was a good thing because I was like, oh no, the bonus piece is also not going to cure. I'm just going to have this floppy heart thing. But it does cure after a while, just not as quickly as what I'm used to with other resins, because with other resins, I'm used to it being mostly mostly hardened within 12 hours, and then I just let it cure the rest of the time. So this kit also says to go ahead and add the stones after you lay the color down, which I'm not used to because I'm used to putting them down beforehand. It is probably good for me. One, because I don't drop the stones all over the resin like I did here and had to move them. But also, I feel like when you put the stones in after you lay the color down, it starts to push the resin a little bit. And, it already moves by itself. I don't need anything extra. But, anywho, it still turned out really cute. As you can see, you can see the brush strokes, but it kind of looks like it's supposed to be that way. But I thought it turned out pretty good. And I like the kit. And I also like my bonus piece. I think the bonus piece is actually my favorite. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and thank you guys for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are. Bye.